pretty good. Hey everyone, if you're anything like me and you wanted a squat rack but can't afford one, stick around. I'm going to show you how I made mine. So here it is. Here's the rack set up in my basement. I just wanted to highlight, first of all, probably the best part about this rack, and that's the price. So I ended up only having to spend around $10 on this rack. I actually already had the wood left over from old projects. I already had wood glue and actually had all of the screws needed for the project. The only thing I had to buy was on the inside of each upright. You can see there's some strong ties there. Those metal brackets were the only thing I had to buy, and it only ended up being around $10, I think. So to me, this rack was basically free. Even if you had none of this and you were making a similar design, you would probably, including the wood and the screws and the glue, I wouldn't imagine it would be more than $60, $70 for the whole thing. So it's a very inexpensive build. I just wanted to highlight that as one of the key decision-making factors for me. I couldn't afford to go out and buy a brand new Rogue rack or anything, so I just took a look at what I already had and I thought this was a good solution. So now I'm going to talk about some of the specifications of it and why it worked for my basement in particular. I think a normal squat rack is between 47 to 49 inches. So I got really lucky, and my basement, the two pillars, two here, two behind the camera, they're spaced 49 inches apart, or a little bit under that. 48.5 inches apart. All the weight that goes on the bar, because everything's nice and level, all the weight just goes straight down into the floor, either the floor or the concrete base of the pillar. So it's really not putting much stress at all on the pillars. Okay, so onto the build. So here I am just marking a visual for myself for what's going to be cut out of the board, just so I know that when I'm screwing it together not to put a screw on those cut lines. So now I want to get tons of glue on here. I don't want any dry spots when I clamp it and screw it. I'd rather have some glue squirt out than have a poor connection with not enough glue. So I'm getting lots of glue on either side, and then I've just got a little plastic scraper, and I'm using that to smooth it all out so that I just have a nice solid layer of glue on both boards. And once I have that, I flipped it over, and I'm going to use some clamps to kind of line everything up, because I know that the board's going to be kind of slick with all the glue, so I'd rather just keep it in spot, get one screw solidly into either side, and once I know everything's lined up, it's not shown in the video, but I put more screws in than just the two on either end, and just made sure everything was nice and solid. So you can see I've got the board temporarily set up. It's just tacked into place there with a little piece of wood. So I just temporarily put it up so you can see kind of how this is going to work. It's flush mounted there to the edge of each pillar, and then I've just notched out at the bottom of each board so it sits on top of the pillar, and then the rest of it sits on the floor. So all the weight for the rack should just be going straight down into the ground or on top of the pillar. You can see the board on the right is larger than the board on the left. The board on the right is a 2x8 and on the left is a 2x6. And the reason is because this pillar that I'm pointing at here is set back about one board length from the one on the left. And that's just the way the pillars were laid out. It's what I had to work with. So I just got two different size pieces of wood and then setting it up so that like when you re-rack the bar or unrack the bar, that it feels even. So a cutout on top is just going to be kind of the bar rest or J-cup. So I just wanted to make sure I had enough room so that it was comfortable for racking and unracking, and then I'm going to put a little piece down in the front, and that's just going to stop the bar from rolling off. So looking at the top of the board now, this is where the bar rest is going to be. So I did two cuts, and all the material in between those is going to be taken out of there. So I don't have any power tools, sadly, so I'm just using a handsaw for this. I'm just going to be doing a bunch of cuts down to the line and then removing the material in between it with a chisel. And I left a little bit of material at the top of the board here, and that's just for securing to the pillar in the basement. So this is what we're left with after all those cuts. It takes a little bit of work, but the first piece finally comes out, and it's good. It's what I was wanting, right down to the line. So now just going to take a little bit of time, knock the rest of these out. I'm just going to let that play out because it's pretty satisfying. So after a bit more work with the chisel, we're left with this. I think it turned out great. I got all the material out that I wanted to. The back's not completely smooth, but I'm really not worried about it. All right, here they are. So they're both up. I've just used some strong ties, Simpson strong ties on the inside, just bent them to 90 degree. So I just have two of them kind of holding them in place for now. And then we're gonna come in with some boards that I've cut. Right now the upright and the pillar are flush, so I'm just gonna sandwich it with some boards and screw it in. So with the help of those metal brackets, the boards are standing in the position that they're going to be in. So I've just put in some screws temporarily to get the boards where I wanted them. I didn't show the top section just because when I was filming I didn't realize that the camera was not getting it, but I put in 8 screws per board holding the upright in place. So I'm 5'10". I don't have a high ceiling down here, especially with this area. I've got the heating duct going right here, so it takes away even more height, but obviously using the pillars I had to build it right here. Even with the little bit of extra room I have not in the duct area, I still wouldn't be able to overhead press or snatch or anything like that. So I just wanted to show you what it looks like and how much room I have. You can see for back squats, the height that I made it at is a little bit low, but I wanted it to work for front squats also. I didn't want to have to go up on my toes to re-rack or anything. It works really well. Okay, there we go. Like I said, it's super strong, super cheap, cost me like 10 bucks to make, and takes up almost no floor space. But anyways, yeah, if you liked it, leave me a like. Let me know what you thought down in the comments. That's all I got for you. Thanks for watching.